Hello students, in today's video we will learn about the Earth structure. It is the Earth. It's the planet where we live, we have fun with our family and friends, we go to school, and many other things we can do. But have you ever wondered, what is the structure of our planet? What is the inside of our planet? What our planet was made of? Let's check it out. The interior of the Earth is divided into three main layers based on chemical and physical properties. The Earth has a core comprising a solid inner core and a liquid outer core. The second layer is a highly viscous mantle, and the most outer layer is an outer silica-rich solid crust. Let's explore it one by one. The Earth has two different types of crust, continental crust and oceanic crust. Each has different properties and therefore behaves in different ways. In your screen right now, you can see the different characteristics between continental crust and ocean crust. Next is the mantle. The mantle is approximately 2,900 kilometers thick and comprises about 85% of Earth's volume. The mantle is divided into sections based upon changes in its elastic properties with depth. The two main sections is upper mantle, it consists of liquid rock, and lower mantle, it consists of solid rock. The mantle has a property of plasticity, which is the ability of each rock to move like fluid without breaking. What does it mean? This is the animation that describes the plasticity of the mantle. See that the rocks which is comprises to the mantle move slowly toward the crust, and then after it reaches the crust, it moves back downward to the direction of the core. But why does it happen? Actually, the plasticity of the mantle is caused by the movement of heat energy in this layer. In the mantle, hot material rises towards the crust. The hot material reaches the base of the crust, where it cools and sinks back down through the mantle. The cool material is replaced by more hot material and so on, forming a large convection cell. This slow but incessant movement in the mantle causes the rigid tectonic plates to move. The consequences of this movement also resulting earthquakes and volcanoes. The last main layer of the Earth is the core. The core consisted of two main layers, the outer core and the inner core. The outer core is the liquid layer. The outer core flows around the center of the Earth, and the movement of the metals creates our planet's magnetic field. The liquid outer core is 2,300 kilometers thick, and it composed of a nickel-iron alloy. The inner core is a primarily solid sphere about 1,220 kilometers in radius, situated at Earth's center. It is a huge metal ball. The inner core is believed to be composed primarily of nickel-iron alloy with small amounts of some unknown elements. Next, we'll talk about plate tectonics. The Earth's crust is divided into 12 plates which are moved in various directions. This plate motion causes them to collide, pull apart, or scrape against each other. Each type of interaction causes a characteristic set of Earth structures or tectonic features. The word tectonic refers to the deformation of the crust as a consequence of plate interaction. So, plate tectonics is a theory that describes the interaction between Earth's plates and its effects to the Earth structure. In this case, it is a tectonic features. Now let's move on to the Litosphere and Asthenosphere. Plates are made of rigid lithosphere. The lithosphere is made up of the crust and the upper part of the mantle. Meanwhile, below the lithosphere is the asthenosphere. It is a part of the upper mantle and is so hot that it is 1 to 5% liquid. This liquid can flow which is why asthenos mean weak. Beneath the asthenosphere is the rest of the mantle, which is completely solid but can also flow on geological timescale. In plate tectonics, there are three types of plate boundary, each related to the movement seen along the boundary. First is divergent boundaries, are where plates move away from each other. Next is the convergent boundaries, are where plates move towards each other. The last one is transform boundaries, are where the plates slide past each other. In plate tectonics, a divergent boundary is a linear feature that exists between two tectonic plates that are moving away from each other. These areas can form in the middle of continents or on the ocean floor. As the plates pull apart, hot molten material can rise up this newly formed pathway to the surface, causing volcanic activity. Convergent boundaries are where the plates move towards each other. There are three types of convergent boundaries, each defined by what type of crust is coming together. Therefore, we can have continent-continent collision, continent-oceanic crust collision, or ocean-ocean collision. The third type of boundary are transform boundaries, along which plates slide past each other. The San Andreas Fault, adjacent to which the US city of San Francisco is built, is an example of a transform boundary between the Pacific Plate and North American Plate. This map summarizes all the known plate boundaries on Earth, showing whether they are divergent, convergent, or transform boundaries. Next, we will talk about volcanoes. As I mentioned before, one of the tectonic features formed in the Earth's surface is volcanoes. Volcano is an opening in Earth's crust that allows molten rock from beneath the crust to reach the surface. This molten rock is called magma when it is beneath the surface, and lava when it erupts or flows from a volcano. Along with lava, volcanoes also release gases, ashes, and rocks. It's a super hot mix that can be both incredibly destructive and creative. This map shows the margins of the Pacific tectonic plate and surrounding region. The red dots show the location of active volcanism. Notice how the majority of the volcanism is focused in lines along the plate boundaries. For this region, this area is known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. But why are all of the volcanoes located at the plate margins? It is because volcanoes can be formed in three ways, which is resulted from the mechanism of plate movement. First, by a rifting. Second, by a subduction. And the third is by hotspot. What is hotspot? A hotspot is a location on the Earth's surface that has experienced active volcanism for a long period of time. The source of this volcanism is a mantle plum of mantle material rising up from near the core mantle boundary through the crust to the surface. See the diagrams. A mantle plum may rise at any location in the mantle, and this is why hotspot volcanoes are independent from tectonic plate boundaries. The Hawaiian island chain are an example of hotspot volcanoes. Next, we will talk about earthquake. An earthquake is the shaking of the surface of the Earth resulting from a sudden release of energy in the Earth's lithosphere that creates seismic waves. Where do earthquakes form? We know there are three types of plate boundaries: divergent, convergent, and transform boundaries. Movement and slipping along each of these types of boundaries can form an earthquake. Depending on the type of the movement, The earthquakes can occur in either a shallow or deep level in the crust. You can see the diagram that describes the earthquake formation. Earthquakes can range in size from those that are so weak that they cannot be felt to those violent enough to propel objects and people into the air and bring destruction across entire cities. These are the examples of the biggest and recent earthquake happened in the world. An earthquake creates seismic wave. Therefore, the study of earthquake wave is called as seismology. The waves release radiates in all directions from its source. Those waves can be recorded by an instrument called seismographs. It records the movement of the Earth's surface in relation to a stationary mass on a rotating ground at the instrument. This is the vertical seismograph. It records the vertical movements, that is up and down vibration, from an earthquake. Meanwhile, this is the horizontal seismograph. It records the horizontal movement from an earthquake. And this is the seismograph, a recorded waves from an earthquake within a certain time frame. Earthquake doesn't just causing structural damage on buildings or bridges. There are also dangerous aftermaths form a series of disasters like fire, liquefaction, landslides, and tsunami. Earthquake does not just can be recorded, but also it can be measured and then scaled. There are several ways to scale how big or small an earthquake is. First, the Richter scale. The Richter scale was invented in the 1930s by Dr. Charles Richter. A Richter magnitude is calculated based on the amplitude of the largest seismic wave recorded for the earthquake. The Richter scale runs from 1 to 10, with 1 being the smallest and 10 being the largest. In the right of your screen, you can see a figure describing the Richter scale with its magnitude range and the description on each of it. The second earthquake scale is known as moment magnitude scale. This scale is invented by Hiro Kanamori and Thomas Hanks in 1970s. Actually, this scale is a modification from Richter scale. The moment magnitude scale is used to calculate the energy release from an earthquake and therefore scale the magnitude based on it. The last example of earthquake scale is Modified Mercalli Intensity Scale or MMI scale. It is a modification from the Mercalli scale, which is invented by a geologist named Giuseppe Mercalli in 1902. This scale does not have a mathematical basis. Instead, it is a random ranking based on observed effects from an earthquake. This intensity scale consists of a series of certain key responses, such as people awakening, movement of furniture, damage to chimneys, and finally, total destruction. In your screen right now, you can see the description table of MMI scale. Okay guys, that is the last but not least. We cannot predict when an earthquake will occur. Therefore, we must always be prepared so that we can survive in an emergency situation. These are 7 steps for earthquake preparedness. Notice that number 1 until 4 is steps you can take before the earthquake occurs. Number 5 is the step you can take during an earthquake. Meanwhile, number 6 until 7 is steps you can take after the earthquake. Now, please take your time to read it carefully. So, that's all for today's learning on Earth structure. I hope all of you enjoyed today's learning and of course learned a lot from this video. Thank you for your attention, good luck, and God bless you.